Good morning, Bulldog Nation. I'm here with Coach Seth Parker for this week's installment of the Coach's Corner. We'll talk a little bit about what's coming up this coming week and what's going on with the football program. Ardmore, they scored more points than we did. I think that's enough about that part of it. But I do want to talk about the defensive effort that the boys put out. Considering how big Ardmore's offensive line was and almost all seniors, I thought that that game came down to two big plays, and other than that, we held them pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. I thought our defense played really, really well. I thought they certainly played well enough to win. That's 2 weeks in a row they've really given up 21 points. And special teams a couple weeks ago, and then this week, had a late game, kind of strip sack, pick six type situation. And so our defense, really giving up 3 touchdowns the last 2 weeks. As a offensive coach, I'd like to think that, you do that, you got a really good chance to win if you only give up 21 points. So really proud of those guys. And like you said, I thought we were outsized and out-experienced too, with Ardmore, and that's a credit to them and how big they are and kind of the work they put in their weight room and their program. So, we were outmatched, but I was really proud of the effort, and our kids certainly didn't quit. We got it wasn't on the goal line, but it was inside the 10-yard line, kind of a goal line stand, even late in the game, down 2 possessions. I mean, the fight was there this week, and I didn't think it was there really the week prior from a full team standpoint. And it was definitely there this week. So really proud of that and a lot to build on moving forward.
Absolutely. Like I said, 2 big plays potentially was the difference in the game, the 2 broken runs. 1 touchdown was a good drive. They had good push, but for the most part, stymied them with the running game, and that's 2 big experienced back. Well, I won't say experienced backs; they're both sophomores, but there's still 2 big backs and a very experienced line. Y'all did a fantastic job.
Yeah, again, I'm very pleased with it. And even early in the game, we turned the ball over on the first play of the game, and in their territory, deep in their territory, we get a stop right there and kind of get the ball back, and we're able to flip the field. And so, and I think we come back the very next possession and get an interception. So, guys like Thomas Ferguson, Brody Collins, and Tide Board played really, really well. And then Cole Oliver made a bunch of plays in the backfield. I mean, I was really pleased with how they played. And, football is a team game, and you got to win in all 3 phases to win a game. But, we were certainly disappointed offensively. We didn't make near enough plays. And like you said, for Ardmore, it came down to a couple plays that they made. And, frankly, offensively, it came down to a few plays we didn't make. And so that's how it goes. And, play here, play there. I think the game turns out, differently, and in it just plays out differently. And again, It's not necessarily one of those things where we win or lose. They certainly win, and hats off to them. And
it just looks like a different game.
Exactly. And so, but it is what it is, and we didn't make the plays, and we got to do better as coaches and as players and make those plays.
One thing you said there, you talked about Brody Collins, Thomas Ferguson, Cole Oliver. Who else is kind of unsung on that defensive line? Who's out there eating up blocks and getting pressure on the quarterback and things like that just doing the grunt work that nobody gets to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I think that starts, kind of in the interior. Caleb Dozier does a good job when he comes off the ball and plays low. I think he's a very strong kid that, like you said, kind of eats up blocks and may not have as many tackles as you see on the stat sheet, but he's probably taking on 1 or 2 blockers that allow somebody else to make those tackles. And then same thing goes with Braden Raymer. He plays the other end for us, and Braden's a really athletic kid. Probably somebody we thought was going to be more of a linebacker, but is playing end and does a great job. And he is just so sound. Braden is so sound. He does nearly everything we ask him to do right. He does it the right way, and definitely a cornerstone of our defense. That there's a lot of those guys like we mentioned, but those 2 have been really good for us so far this year.
Outstanding. So this week, West Morgan, rivalry game, and they've just reloaded. They had a great run last year, and they look to be just as good this year, if not maybe a little bit better. which is a little scary to say for a team that went to the third round of the playoffs.
Right.
What have you seen on tape? Are they as good as they are on paper?
Absolutely. They are. They're a really good team, and I know a lot of those coaches over there and have coached with a lot of them, and have some pretty deep personal relationships with a lot of those guys too. And so I know how well coached they are, and it starts there. I mean, the culture they've built over there is next to none, and but on top of that, they've got really good players that play really hard, and so they're very, very good. Truthfully, I think they could be one of, if not the best, one of the best 2 or 3 teams on our entire schedule. And even though they're a lower classification than us, that really means nothing, certainly in this case. And they're a really good team. They're a really good team, and we've got our work cut out for us this week. And but I do feel we can go over there and compete and have a chance to win the game. And so being a rivalry game, we've got to show up, and I know our kids will. They're excited to go on the road. I think sometimes people make more about home and away games. I think high school kids love, and all competitors love going on the road. I mean, sometimes I don't think it really makes a huge difference. I think sometimes, it fires you up more. So we're really excited about going over there and having a chance to play a really good team that truthfully, is probably a 4A state championship contender. And so I think it's a good measuring stick. Even though we're in a classification above them, I still think they are certainly a team that is a 5A level, without question. And so
wouldn't shock me if West Morgan's not a 5A school in 2 years.
Right, and I think in this,
if not 2, then definitely 4.
If they were in our region, I mean, I think they'd be competing for the region championship. And so, I think they're a really good team, and they're as good as advertised, no question.
Yeah. Shifting gears once again, one of the biggest differences in the transition from previous program to where we are now is the receiver position. Mm-hmm. You utilize it a lot more than what we have for several years in the past. So there's a lot of kids in the program right now who have never played receiver, and ones who were designated as split end really didn't get utilized as a receiver. So as such, they don't know they haven't practiced the skills that they need. How are the kids transitioning and learning those?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is certainly a learning curve. What I found kind of interesting is really some of our younger players are probably a little bit more moldable in that sense, because it's just kind of like one of those things, teaching an old dog new tricks. I think we have some younger guys that have picked up on some things a little quicker than some of our older guys, and not from a talent standpoint, but just kind of being, again, like the idea of like fresh clay in a lot of ways. So, but I think as a whole, everybody has transitioned pretty well. I mean, and it's going to take time. It's I think that's a structural thing from even Pee Wee on, and like I look at our flag football leagues. We got hundreds of kids out here in the PCRA flag football league that learn the skill of the game rather than the physical the physicality of the game first and foremost. And I think there are obviously strong arguments that you got to have both. There's no doubt you got to have both. You got to have skill. You got to be physical. But I also think, at our middle school level, I'm thankful for Coach Weeks and jumping on board and kind of developing some of those kids so that when they get to the 9th grade, they're not having to learn a brand new style of play and style of offense. And so it's really, apples and oranges compared to what offensively has been done here in the past. But at the end of the day, and it sometimes does not appear that way so far, but at the end of the day, we still want to run the ball and be a run-first team that establishes the run in everything that we do. And so it's just a different way to go about it, and spreading people out and trying to run the ball versus bringing everybody in the box and trying to run the ball. So, it's just something that's going to take time. And I think our kids week by week are getting more confident and more skilled in those abilities.
Well, I think, even in, like you said, spread them out and still run the ball, that makes their learning curve even bigger, because they not only are they learning how to run routes and catch the ball properly, now they have to learn how to block.
Right.
And when they can block and where they can block and, things like that. So it just makes things that much harder. Right. And makes their job even more important.
Right.
So, and like you said, there are a lot of young players that are getting playing time there. And I think they're doing a fantastic job of learning as they go.
Right.
You got anything you want to say to the fans out there in Bulldog Nation?
No, we just, again, I appreciate you guys' support. Our crowds have been absolutely awesome, home and away. I know we're going to have another great one this week. And again, we're doing everything we can to work hard and make you guys proud. And again, got a lot of football left to play this season, and we want to continue to see those crowds just as strong as they've been early on in the season. So again, the support here is next to none, and I'm very thankful for it, and look forward to seeing all you guys over in Trinity, Alabama this Friday at 7. It's things going to rain though. Things going to be wet, so make sure you bring an umbrella or a poncho or something like that, and dress for rain. So we're looking forward to it and ready to get out there and have an opportunity to prove ourselves this week.
It's going to be a wet, messy game, I'm pretty sure. But Bulldog Nation, dress warm, dress for weather, and we will see you Friday night. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.